Tonight, Fani's going to be drinking that Grey Goose.
Good morning, Pam. Yeah, this new filing in from the prosecutor who had taken the place to look into the Fulton County investigation of Donald Trump and others has filed a motion with the court saying that they are not going to move forward with the case. They're dropping the charges.
She was paying for trips with taxpayer dollar. She was paying for trips and extravagant things between her and him. And he's supposed to be investigating Trump in an impartial way, and she's smashing the guy. Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notification anytime I go live. I make a video, and make sure if you want to message me or send me any of the information that you want me to know, whether it's questions or not, send it to me at brandon@freedomchat.com. Let's get into this. All right, let's start with our first story. Breaking news out of the state of Georgia. We have Fani. Y'all remember that little nasty Fani out there sleeping and hiking it up for, I forget the guy's name now. What was his name? She hiking it up for homeboy. They said they got caught in the investigation room, in evidence room, bumping and grinding, pumping and sweating, and she appointed him to be the head of the special counsel. Nathan Wade. That nasty joker.
Lover boy Nathan Wade can't keep his pants on and his mouth shut. Last week's train wreck CNN interview wasn't enough for Loverboy when he tagged out mid-question to powwow with his team about when he started knocking boots with Fani. Loverboy decided he would go another round. Last night, he sat down with The Daily Show.
What was your first thought when you had the affair with Fani come public between you and her?
I don't label it an affair.
Wifey or?
D.A. Willis is a respectable mother, a brilliant legal mind.
Right.
We spent countless hours preparing this case, investigating this.
I see how it happened, countless hours, and I need a foot rub, and you know what I mean? She rub your foot, and you like, here, let me give you a massage, and all of a sudden, pump, pump, we up on this desk.
It got so much worse.
You on that disclosure?
No, that's a common misconception. She's not my boss. She's never been my boss.
You wasn't he too'd.
Right.
Right, she ain't he to you.
No, I was a contract attorney. She was more analogous to a client to me.
So you saying she was a client?
Yes.
Right, so you served her well.
I did my job. And let's talk about some of the successes I did while I was
I think we talking
on the
about
job.
the successes.
We did not have that type of relationship
Right.
at the outset, and we were interviewing other people for the position.
What position was it?
It was the position of
Which
special
position?
prosecutor.
Did that position look like this? Or did that position look like this?
Fani's not happy. Sources inside Team Fani say Wade's behavior is an unnecessary distraction and disrespectful. Tonight, Fani's going to be drinking that Grey Goose.
Nathan Wade, Fani Willis. If you've seen Fani Willis, you would feel sorry for Nathan Wade. But I guess he was drunk. So they do this little shenanigans, if you don't remember the case, to try to get Trump on interfering in the election in the state of Georgia. Now, obviously, we all knew it was bogus and it was BS, but now it is official. Now, and I want to go to the ground.news so you guys can see what I'm reading. So it is actually official. New Georgia prosecutor drops election interference case against Trump and his allies. Now, this is the part that I love the most because you could just do the synopsis. Now, y'all know I hate reading all this stuff. That's why I love this part where I could just summarize it. And you can summarize what the right is saying, what the left is saying, because obviously I believe that the right is more accurate. I'll read what it says on the right. It says, Georgia prosecutor dismissed election interference charges against President Donald Trump and 18 others, making a significant victory for Trump and his legal team. Pete Skandalakis. I had to sound it out. Don't judge me. I went to public school. Pete Skandalakis, the new prosecutor, stated pursuing the case would not serve justice and that illegal conduct alleged was convincing or conceived in Washington, D.C., indicating federal jurisdiction as appropriate. So pretty much saying that they need to take this on in D.C. because them doing it in the state of Georgia and the accusing of Donald Trump of a federal election interference is more of the problem. Fani Willis, the original prosecutor, was disqualified due to her romantic relationship with her special prosecutor, which I talked about Nathan Wade, little nasty self. And when you look at what the left is saying, they're saying something pretty similar. It says Georgia prosecutor moves to dismiss the election interference case against President Donald Trump and others. This guy, Pete, who's a new prosecutor, found that pursuing the charges would be unproductive and noted that the case falls under federal jurisdiction instead of state. Now, if you want more information about this, you can go to ground.news. Make sure you go to ground.news/Tatum if you want to sign up. If you just want to go visit, just visit ground.news. If you want to sign up, we can get you a huge deal. I think 40% off on a Vantage plan. But the reason why I like this website, you guys have seen it, me references it plenty of times, is because you just get the full spectrum. You get to see what the left is doing, the center is saying, the right is saying. You get it a synopsis here with AI, and then you go down here and you can look at all the articles. You could pick left articles, right, center articles, and right articles. The funny thing is the left and the center is talking about this more than the right is talking about it. I don't know why. Maybe because they're not saying that the case is completely over. Maybe they're just saying that they need to be filed during a federal jurisdiction, which is never going to be filed because we run the government. But it tells you where everything is coming from, you know, how factual it is, factuality rating, all of that. And if you want to follow Trump, you want to follow any of these things, you just push and click on it. And then you could just see all things Trump administration, all things U.S. politics, Republican, Democrat, wherever you stand on the spectrum, which I think most of y'all are smart enough not to be Democrats. Anyway, ground.news/Tatum. The link will be in the description section. 40% off the Vantage plan, the unlimited plan that I use. Let's get to Fani Willis, the clip. All right, we got a clip 001 talking about the breaking news. Roll the clip.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We are following breaking news just into CNN. A Georgia prosecutor officially dropped the historic racketeering case against President Trump and others for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. I want to go right to CNN's Kara Scannell. What are you learning, Kara?
Good morning, Pam. Yeah, this new filing in from the prosecutor who had taken the place to look into the Fulton County investigation of Donald Trump and others has filed a motion with the court saying that they are not going to move forward with the case. They're dropping the charges. What he filed what's known as a nolle pros, and that means that in theory, because if the statute of limitations hasn't run out, a case could be refiled. But he attached to his filing about a 20-page statement explaining his rationales for why he did not think that they should move forward with this case. You'll remember this was the case that began with Donald Trump making a call to the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, urging him to find the votes. And then District Attorney Fani Willis brought this historic investigation and filed those racketeering charges against Donald Trump and dozens of others for interfering with the 2020 election. She was then disqualified from the case because of an undisclosed romantic relationship with another prosecutor. And that is how this case now fell into the hands earlier this month.
These people are so disingenuous. She did not get disqualified because of an undisclosed relationship with another prosecutor. She appointed this dude to be special counsel, which means that he was at primary investigatory responsibility over the case, and she was sleeping with the guy. And that wasn't it, though. Now, I know they can't explain it all on here, but they don't want to explain it anyway. She wasn't just sleeping with this guy. She didn't just not disclose it. She was paying for trips with taxpayer dollar. She was paying for trips and extravagant things between her and him, and he's supposed to be investigating Trump in an impartial way, and she's smashing the guy. What, like, why y'all always got to be fake and lying all the time? Just say it like it is. Roll the clip.
Of a prosecutor who was assigned the job of trying to find someone to take on this case. He said that he couldn't because there were too many conflicts, and he took it on himself. Now we're seeing the results of that, and that is that he is saying that they are not going to move forward with this case. And he summarized it in part by saying that he made this decision by examining the case file, examining what the jury had been presented, and also considerations of the law. He says that, contesting an election is not unlawful, but and that is part of the reasons for why he decided not to move forward with the charges at this point. But again, this is a nolle pros filing, meaning that they're dropping the case right now. In theory, it could be revived if the statute of limitations doesn't run out. But of course, Donald Trump is still in office for another 3 years. Pam, this is the last of the criminal prosecutions that have been hanging over Donald Trump as he entered the White House. The only conviction that he faced out of the 4 indictments was the one in New York for the hush money payments, and that one he is appealing. Pam?
And the funny thing is, if Donald Trump successfully appeals that and they throw it out, it's all a sham. Well, we already know it's a sham. Because how do you get indicted in New York City and that you do no jail time? You do no customer service? You pay no restitution? Absolutely nothing. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? That means it was fabricated. It was fraudulent. They tried to do this to make him look bad so he'll lose the election. And then once he won, they all backed off. Oh, we don't want to, because they know they're full of sugar honey iced tea.